So we're engaged. We decide to get married in the temple. We go to California to get married on the beach. Well, in the temple, and then have a reception on the beach. And we basically just like kind of elope with our parents. So it's like a really intimate wedding. It's really beautiful. One of the temple pictures, by the way, that you pulled up a couple minutes ago on the screen was the San Diego temple where we got married. So you saw it in one of the things you looked through.
All right, hang on. Let me throw it up because everyone's gonna want to.
Everyone's gonna see it. It's gorgeous. I think it's the prettiest one.
Oh, okay. Look at
Yeah, there
this.
you go. Yeah, see, beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, that's stunning. They like white.
Oh yes, purity.
Yeah, right. That's stunning. Yeah, okay. So
Yeah,
you got accepted in. You got accepted into this one.
yes, we were worthy. We didn't touch ourselves, so we passed the cut.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we get. So I, at this point, but right before we get married, I'm starting to really have a feminist crisis, and I'm thinking the church is pretty sexist. And this is the main, and I guess this was like the first real pull, the first real nick in the armor, I guess. And then the guy that marries us. So in the temple, you just get married by whichever sealer is present, rather than having like a friend or something. He makes it worse. And so this whole time over the past few years, I'm kind of like struggling with my faith, but I decide that it's true. It's fine. It's true. Everything's equal. Everything that my first husband was saying, that's not true. I'm not a helpmeet. That was the language he used. I'm not a helpmeet. I'm real. I'm sure everything's fine. And then in the sealing room, the moment that we're about to get married, he turns to my husband, or he turns to both of us. He said, "You are now going to join the Kate Alexander kingdom." And he's like, you will be the helpmeet to his kingdom. And I burst into tears because no, that means it's real. Like we mentioned at the very beginning of this, you asked whether or not Mormons would like feel comfortable with that language of like a man with the kingdom and like the women around it. And kind of like what I said was, I think that people would like not disagree, but would feel uncomfortable, and like that feels kind of flippant. And that's kind of how I felt in this moment, was that I was really, really hoping that someone that I'd been misinterpreting the doctrine that like women could be just as equal as men, but they just aren't. They just aren't, no matter how many times you try to do mental gymnastics. So they just aren't. And I think that was the moment right at the wedding, which was really bad timing, that it just really hit like, wow, I have been, circling this stuff for a while, but it's just sexist as fuck. Like it just is. And so, yeah. So then the sealer, I think he thinks I'm crying because I feel the spirit, because he seems happy and excited.
Oh no.
He just is like leaning into it. He's like, goes out. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember even all the things he was saying. He was like, man, like, he's like, but don't worry, it's super equal because you have to keep him on track. And, all this stuff. And
oh no.
husband is like trying to look at me. I mean, he's thinking I'm going to run out of the room. And I really was thinking about it at the time. I was like, do I leave?
Does he know the part? Like, does he know your past, like the experiences you went through? Okay, cool. So he's probably thinking like, oh no, she's having a bit of traumatic remembering, reminders and stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So he's really worried in the moment. Especially because, I've talked to him a lot about, my concerns with the church, my concerns with my past marriage. Like, so he can tell that I'm really panicking. But I just kind of we just get married, and that part was horrible. Horrible is it was not great.
Do you mind if I ask, was it his first marriage, or was he, or did he also? Okay, cool. Okay.
Yep.
So it must have been really like for him, and he was only a few years older than you. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple years.
Yeah. So that's still a scary moment for anyone, especially with such a religious undertone. It's
Absolutely.
Big day. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge day, and, we're told that we'll be married forever until forever, through the eternities. And we're in this room. And like I said, we wanted to have a really small wedding because I didn't want to have a reception again. So it's literally, we're in California and it's just him and I and his family. That's his mom, his sister, his brother-in-law. And that's it. And we're all just in there. And I'm just crying. And he's scared because he's getting married and that's daunting. And he's also with his family. And he sees that I'm freaking out. And he's like, and the thing about him too, I feel so bad. He's like, he's trying to understand what I'm thinking, but he also is really firmly believing at this point, and he also thinks
Yeah.
that feminism is like a very dirty word. And like, I don't know about, too much equality. Like that feels a little, he's like working, he's still,
Yeah.
And so I'm already kind of seen as a little edgy, a little on the periphery here. And this is just making it worse. But I think we both just are panicked. We're here in our wedding moment. The sealer's just going at it. I refuse looking at him. He is trying to make eye contact with me, just like deer in the headlights,
This is crazy because you're crying, having like existential crisis about like feminism and the church and truth and reality. He's wondering, is she going to leave? This is also and run away. Like, is she having trauma? Is this like this is the biggest moment of my life? And he's freaking out. And then the person marrying you is like, oh, the Lord is working through this.
And his family's in there thinking this is great. They're all smiling and happy. I'm like, this is the best day. And like, everything is like imploding. Like,
that's so. It's only funny because of how messed up it is. Like, it really is. Like, it's such a fucked situation. Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So that was mess. But we get married somehow, sporadically. We get married, and then we do have a beautiful hour or two where we're just on the beach, where we have we drink sparkling cider, non-alcoholic, of course, because
Of
that
course, yeah.
Of course, can you imagine? And then we share sugar cookies. We go on our honeymoon. It's fantastic. And it is like really safe and validating for me to be like, oh, like this is what a good relationship is. Oh, but also, I guess last thing I'll say on the marriage too is, so we do the brief reception on the beach. It's beautiful. And then, we have the send off into the sunset. We drive off to our honeymoon. 5 minutes after we drive away, I'm like, so everything the sealer said, you didn't believe any of that, right? Like we're kind of, and so, yeah. And he's kind of like, so that is basically when like we both kind of know something really big is going to happen with our religion, and we're T-minus 2 hours post marriage, so we'll just kind of hang on and post we kind of have the self-respect to not talk about it on our honeymoon, but we kind of both know that we're gonna have some big conversations when we get home.